we'll work out our microphone routine.
Oh, okay. I'll use this one. Thank you very much. Very nice to be here. I have to clarify, this project has a local partner, A49, who did a great job together with us. And it's very nice to be really here and to do this talk. But I'm going to actually go through two projects that I've designed recently. And when I first got the topic of design, about technology, I came to a stumbling block because I know we always use technology in our design, but that's not really the main thing to me. I think because of the advancement of technology, there's even more reason that we should do things that are more human-oriented. So, and I do believe that architect has that power to do something more to our project. So the first project I want to talk about is H Queens, which is a purpose-built building for art galleries in Hong Kong. So the owner came to me with an office building in mind. And as an architect, I always felt that it's very hard to do a generic building that suits every office tenant. So I came up with an idea of why don't we do a purpose-built building. And it was about 6 years ago when the art scene in Hong Kong was just starting to develop. So in this plan, you would see H Queens, our building, and very close to where we are is the Central Police Station, which now becomes a major art hub. And also we have PMQ, which is another kind of design hub. So at the time, because of this development in art, and then we have Art Basel coming to Hong Kong, and we also have M+, which is the Museum for Art and Moving Images and whatever. So all these art things were starting to happen in Hong Kong. So, and I think that it would be an easier way for me to design the building with a connection to the user. And the owner was very supportive, and they actually have to do a lot of research into, because it's a big risk. You turn this kind of multi-billion-dollar project into kind of a gamble on the art market scene. But they were very supportive, and they did a lot of market research, and at the end, they decided to go ahead with a project, H Queens, which basically there are just two components. One is art galleries, and the other one is our restaurants. So basically, about 2/3 of the building are art galleries, and about 1/3 are restaurants. So we have right now 6 restaurants in the building. And so functionally, it's a very straightforward. So once we have the idea, then the technology part comes in. How do we actually make technology for this building to work? Some of it would be kind of like the communication of the art galleries to the outside. So we actually have these very large LED panels that communicate with the outside on a kind of daily basis of what's going on in the building. Then inside the building, we also have these communication for the artworks and also for the building directory and all that. And actually, each tenant is given access to one computer monitor in the ground floor lobby, which they can actually program, and they can inform the visitors what's going on in the gallery. So in a building like this, the visual communication become very important. We also devised then a glass that is actually usable for art galleries. So it's a transparent building. Some galleries would choose to either leave it transparent, or they might erect some temporary partition, depending on the exhibition. But the glass we actually finally developed is a triple layer glass that allow us to cut out all the UV light. So for the ladies that work in there, you also don't have a tanning effect when you work inside the building. And plus, it's a great thing to protect the artwork from the UV light. So technology like that is important, but it's really it's a supportive function rather than the main reason for doing the building. And then we have to devise a way to lift the artwork into the building. So we actually have a lifting mechanism from the rooftop of the building, which is a custom designed technological element from Spain that could actually allow us to not just lift it through the openable window on every floor, but it actually has a counterweight that can allow us to move the artwork into each floor, into the building. Then we also talk about, I think the more we talk about technology, the more we have to think of, the world before technology, when we have passive energy, when we actually open the window and let in the fresh air. So we actually designed the restaurant floors to have the openable balcony that extend the full length of the building. And by doing that, that's why we have these staggering forms that create the architectural shape of the building. And then as part of the communication also, we have the external lighting, which is actually an LED lighting. It has a soft glow in the evening, and it actually kind of create a very sculptural form for the project. And to me, I think the importance of a project, an architecture project, is it has the potential to extend beyond the building itself. It has a potential to connect with the city and almost connect with the world. And this project in particular is a very kind of known project in the art world, in pretty much all over the world. So if you talked, and we have some of the top art galleries moved into the building, including David Schwerner and Hausenwerf. So we have visitors from Singapore, from the British Parliament that came and really look at what this building is all about. Now, Gaison 2. It's a very interesting project. Architecture is actually done by A49. It's a great shape. When we were given the project, this was the form already. We start to imagine what this building could be. And there is a retail podium at the bottom, and then there's the office building. The retail part is actually quite small. It connects to Gaison 1. And so each individual parts are not big, but then we think that if we connect these parts, it could become much bigger than what it is. So instead of having a conventional mixed-use project where we have a separate entrance for the office and a separate entrance for the mall, and then we actually combine everything into one concept. And it's really the porosity that we're looking for. So in crafting this space, then we start to imagine what this space could be. So we want to bring the community together. We want to bring design community to the building as tenants, and as a result, they can also use these floors. So originally, it was really intended to support the building itself. But luckily, the design became successful enough that we actually filled the building very quickly, and then we can open up the space to actually more, serving this entire neighborhood. So we created some working pots to integrate into the landscape itself. So we have these interlocking space where the landscape and architecture and interior are all interconnected. So this is where you come through when entering the building. We also have a very strong western sun. So we do use some kind of technology to screen off the strong sun and create a very comfortable environment inside. And then we have the very transparent glass, which cuts out a lot of energy intake, but then it creates these very comfortable meeting pots on one side of the building. And if you haven't done it, I just had a meeting earlier today in one of the pods. So I strongly encourage you to come back and hold a meeting in these pods. It's quite an interesting experience. And then we have other elements that really connect the building user with the mall people. So the people from the mall can actually come up in one bank of lift and meet the people that works in the building that will come down from another bank of lift. And actually, I just saw a kind of a very social activity happening in the other side of this floor. So I think the building is put to good use. Other kind of technological advice would be kind of the security system and how the tenant can access their floor in a very kind of private way. And again, I think the most important thing about this project is its connectivity to people, to how to really, before, if you knew Quezon before, it was not a very active place, but then with this project, it actually connect from the Sky Bridge to the BTS system, and actually now we get a huge traffic going through the building. And our next phase of the building, the project would be actually to extend this connection to Quezon 1 and eventually to Amarine Plaza. So we would like to use this as a catalyst to then enlarge this concept of this Quezon village, to really create a human environment for this whole area, to really create something that human is really the first thing, and then technology is something that would support the human activities. So I guess that's it. Thank you.